mentioned, okay, so you go to work for an insurance company, you're probably making pretty good money. That's not an easy thing. Well, especially if you have a family or a young
Yeah,
family,
no,
you're
I didn't. I
fortunate to
was
be
single.
single
I was
because then you
single.
suddenly your
Yep.
paycheck's not nearly as big.
No, your paycheck isn't
But
even. There is no paycheck.
right, right. But
When
you're enjoying.
you're a graduate
Yeah,
assistant, you know, you have, you're really. It's like being on football scholarship.
right.
You have room and board. You have a little bit of a stipend, which they're paying for you to go to school,
Right.
and that's about it. You
Yeah.
know, we took off one summer and I actually worked in the Snake River Canyon building the lodge
Nice.
one
Yeah.
summer, which is that's a whole nother experience.
Right.
It's a little bit different. I can't tell you it's been one of the best experiences I've had, but
But
it's a
it
little
but
bit
it makes you
different.
appreciate
Makes you
the other
appreciate a
things.
lot of things.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
when you don't have electricity or power, and it gets dark down there
Yeah.
at night,
Right.
and you shine a flashlight out, and you see nothing but eyes looking back at you.
What kind of eyes? All kinds.
Yeah, there's a little bit of everything. You know,
Yeah.
we're down in there, and we had, you know, you have to take a jet boat to get down
Wow.
in there and back,
Yeah.
and so what you bring with you is what you have,
Yeah.
and you know, we have a couple dogs, and you know, some you have to be able to defend yourself if
Right.
something happens down there,
Yeah.
and there were a couple times where it can get really a little different when
Hmm.
the dogs come back in and they don't want to go back
Right.
outside,
And
and
even they're scared.
and they're standing at the door growling.
Right.
Yeah, they sense something, they
Yeah.
know something, and you know, and you come back out the next morning, you look around, and there's, you know, cougar
Yeah.
prints all over the place,
Right.
and you know that, you know,
Yeah.
there's all kinds of animals down
And
there.
that was when you were a grad assistant at Washington
That's when I was a
State.
grad assistant.
Okay.
Yeah.
And,
Oh, yeah.
and that can be a learning experience as well.
That was
right?
a learning
Yeah.
experience. Yeah, I learned that that's not anything I want to do
Yeah.
for
Now,
a
that's a
living
new story.
either.
I hadn't heard that story. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't want to do that.
You know, you mentioned at the beginning your folks moving from Alabama to Indiana, and you said at some point you hope this doesn't matter. But do you take some pride or in terms of, I grew up in the state for the barriers you've broken, first at Houston and then at Texas A&M as the first African American coach and a football coach in those situations.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's it's a something that's there, that's out there. I think over the course of time, what you're hoping for is for it not to be an issue. Um, and you know, I've said all along, you know, the more success that I can have, I think it helps that situation. Um, so you know, over the course of time, I think you hope that that is not something that's talked about.
Right.
I think the biggest deal for me is that, you know, I spent so much time in Alabama in the summers growing up, um, between Alabama and really the panhandle of Florida, where my mom is from, um, Bruton, Alabama, and Milton, Florida,
Right.
little bitty towns um, that's where I learned to do a lot of different things. You know, you know, fishing and being outdoors, and that's the way my grandparents were, both my mom's dad and my dad's dad. And you know, we had moved from the woods to the city in Indianapolis, and so it's a good time to be down there. And I know a lot of guys and grew up being down there all the time in the summer and love to go down there. And you know, it's like anything else. Like my parents right now with my kids, you know, I got to do a whole lot more with my
Right.
grandparents
Right.
than I did
Absolutely.
with my parents.
Yeah.
In terms of whatever it was, being on boats.
Sure.
And difference between riding in a boat and driving a boat, or a
Right.
car, or out hunting, or anything like that. You know,
Right.
that didn't really go on
Yeah.
in Indianapolis.
Right.
But it was just the way of life down there. So, you know, a lot of those are great memories. And so, you know, all the friends and relatives and people in those areas, you know, we're playing football there now. So, you know, there's lots of ticket requests
Right.
in
Right.
you know, between the Auburn and Alabama game last year and Ole Miss and Mississippi State.
Yeah.
it's close,
Right.
and so I think more than anything else, that's what makes it fun too.
Right.